Welcome back everyone to this Shadow and Flame YouTube channel. It's been a while. My name's Dave, aka Flame, aka UK Freddy Bear from the One Ring forums. Now the last time we had a little chat, I think it was last year, and I was trying to figure out my Armies on Parade board for last year, which was 2016. It was originally going to be Iron Hills, and then we switched it up to Gundabad Orcs. For one reason or other, that didn't happen, largely due to the fact that Kev, who was Shadow, he was also doing a Gundabad Orc board, so didn't want to duplicate it. And also, well, it seemed like every man and his dog was doing Gundabads all of a sudden. There was all over the forums and Facebook pages, everyone was just painting up Gundabads, and I thought, wow, there's nothing really special that I'm doing. That is largely different enough from what everyone else is. So I not lost interest, but it got put on the back burner, and I focused heavily on, I still did an Armies on Parade board with my lad, which was a 40k board. But anyway, but a lot's happened since then, as we know. We have the new There and Back Again book, which is awesome. Lots of new profiles, lots of things to get excited about, even new models, more importantly, for Gundabad. And that has injected me quite well or injected me with passion, or should I say, reinvigorated my enthusiasm for Gundabad. And we're going to take a look at how far I've come since last time we had the chat, and see where we are. Also, we're going to have a look at some of the commissions I'm working on with regards to how many Battle of 5 Armies trolls we can make using the Mordor troll. So a few conversions towards the end of the video. It's probably going to crack on a bit, so I better wind this up, and let's go look at the army. Alright, so here is what's painted so far. Zoom in a bit. So we've got Azog on a white warg. Recently changed that to a flail. There's the dismounts. Okay, we've got the new Gundabad ogres. They're painted up. That's the Felwarg riders, which unfortunately don't have a profile. More about that later. We've got 36 Gundabad orcs. Should be 18 with shields, 18 with spears. We've got the captain. Done it. There's a scratch made banner with the Gundabad layer emblem, and then we've also got 12 berserkers, which are recently done, very nice. And we've just got 6 Felwargs, which act as dismounts really for the riders. So what we'll do is we'll have a closer look at each section in turn and have a little chat about that. Alright, so here's all the Gundabad orcs. As I mentioned, 36 of them. Quite tedious when you're painting that many. I did manage to get 24 done for my Ardacon force last year, and just recently I've finished off the last warband, just so they're all done together really. none of my painting is ever going to be, going to win prestigious awards. I paint for the tabletop, unlike Kev, who paints for the cabinet. So, having said that, though, I did follow his guide, which is on the Shadow and Flame website, which was very useful. I've probably just gone through the stages a bit quicker than what he did, just to get them done, really. Most of them have small conversions, mostly head swaps and legs, torsos. Just mix them up a little bit, except for the final warband, which I just didn't bother because I was losing enthusiasm for them by that point. So they're all painted, all based. What I will go back and do is, you'll notice some of them still have, let's have a look, pick out a bad one, that guy at the back there. Right, so this guy, yeah, these thin swords are pretty crummy, really. So what I'll be doing is the ones that are really bad, I'll be giving them weapon upgrades from the Berserker pack, as there are so many extra weapons in there. We'll give them the curved swords, just to get rid of those wonky ones, because they don't look great, to be honest. So at some point they'll get swapped out, but there's no huge urgency to do that. They're still usable for the time being. So we'll stick with it. The banner, let's have a little chat about that. Okay, so what we've done is just built a scratch sculpted banner, which I've noticed has already got scuffed. See a bit of green stuff showing through on the edge there, so I'll need to touch that up a little bit. And got the old dwarf head impaled on a spike on top, just for a bit of theme. The old ancient enemies kicking in. Done a pattern on the back as well. Hasn't come out as well as I'd like compared to the front one, but it'll do. Much welcome addition was the inclusion of a banner in the new There and Back Again rulebook. Captain, it's just standard as he comes out of the box. I've got another one to do, and it will be getting converted to be different to that one, basically. That's that. So that's more or less the Gundabad orcs. Not much else to say, really. We've already covered the things like the head swaps and that. So, I mean, this is all the same pose, but you can see they've all got different heads just to make it a little bit different. I haven't really gone to town with reposing them. A, I haven't got time, and B, for how long they survive on the table, I just really couldn't be bothered, to be honest. So that's the Gundabad orcs. Let's look at the cavalry next, I think. Okay, so here's the Gundabad orc Felwar riders. You probably remember, or those who have watched it, the old Army on Parade video from last year. These have carried on from there. Painted them all up. Quite excited. Looking forward to new profiles and whatnot with the new book. But as a lot of you are well aware, they unfortunately do not have a profile, even though they are in the movie and they are cool. Sadly, no WAG upgrade for the Gundabad orcs, but still, they're nice models, I think, and considering how little I play anyway, they'll be okay for friendly games. So I'm not too upset, to be honest. The main thing is they just give the army a different aesthetic, I guess, for what I'm looking for. When it comes down to armies on parade, there's going to be just a bit of variety in the force. You know, I didn't really want to do the whole massive infantry army that Kev did last year, because it's already been done. I want a bit more, just spice it up a bit, really, just different things going on. Thankfully, we've got lots of cool stuff coming out with the berserkers and the ogres and the trolls, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So these have all been converted from Gundabad orc infantry, the top halves, and they've just been stuck on the hunter orc lower halves, which if you've got the hunter orc riders, you'll notice that the legs are integral to the wargs. So all I've done is just sculpted over those legs with some armour before painting them up. A few people asked me why I've given them shields. Well, it's easy. Defense 6 over Defense 5 rules, even though they don't have them in the movies. So you could make a case for that. It's just easier because the shields come attached to the figures in the blister packs. It's just easier to give them all shields rather than not give them all shields, if that makes any sense. Because only one of the which guy is it? So this guy, the shield is a separate piece. So I could have bought 6 packs of Gundabads just to get the arm with no shield on, but as they're expensive enough as it is, that was a no-go. If these ever do get rules and shields aren't an option, then I'll make the effort to take them off and tidy them up again. But seeing as they don't assist, I can put what I like on them, and that's fine. The Fairwargs at the back just obviously dismounts. Haven't really done anything with them. I've chosen that I don't like the bold bits on the warg, so I've painted fur on the back end. I've done a few commissions where I've actually sculpted the fur on, and while that looks better, it's a lot more time consuming, as you can appreciate. So these are just give the illusion that they're all furry, even though it's a flat surface. We've just painted it as though there is hair on them. Again, the swords a little bit wonky, curly, so they'll be getting berserker sword upgrades as well. Possibly by the next video, but we'll see. Lots going on. Not a lot else I'm going to say about that, really. That is what it is. So let's have a look at something else. So here are the new Gundabad berserkers. Really nice models to paint, actually. There's a lot more to them than I initially thought, and they ended up taking me a couple of days rather than I was hoping to bang them all out in one day. But I ended up painting them over the whole weekend. Considering there's only 3 poses, you can get a lot of variety from them with not a lot of effort, really. And there is another video coming up soon, which I've done, which shows how you can easily change them up a little bit with very simple sculpting techniques. So let's just have a look at a few of them. I've opted for, as you can see, I've opted for the leather armour. It's front and back. Lots of little buckles and stuff on these. And we've got the bright white eyes with like a glowing effect around them. So he's pretty standard as they came out of the box. I mean, it's compare him to this guy. So this is the same guy, obviously a different head. Focus. What I've just done is added some fur around the wrists and also behind the boots. Yeah. So with not a lot of effort really, that's made him look a little bit different from this guy. Obviously the weapon's different and the heads are different, but little things like that can make the world of difference. You can also change the appearance of heads as well by giving them hair. So this guy's got a full mop of hair. I really like the way he's charging with the two axes, ready to smash some dwarf skull, no doubt. Yeah, so that's hair. You can also take hair off. Let's have a look. So this guy, yeah, so he's bald. Scraped all the hair away from the back. He's bald and he's got like a goatee beard. This one, just to make him a little bit different. Like I say, all simple stuff. There's nothing, there's nothing too complicated. Even a novice can do it, as you'll see in the tutorial video that's coming up. This guy, he's got like a mohawk. Yeah, really nice models. I love them. I've opted for the light fur on the shoulders, and I know in the movies it was a lot darker than that, but because the hair, because I've given them so many, or also a few of the models' hair, I just wanted to stand out a little bit. And dark hair on dark fur doesn't show very well. That's the reason behind the lighter paint scheme. The skin, it took me a while to get happy with it really, because I must have done it 2 or 3 times, and I tried doing it. I think, what did I use? Rakar Flesh, I think, is the standard skin tone for them. And I tried the Reichland Flesh shader, and they just were going too orangey or too brown for my liking. I wanted them a lot grayer, so I ended up redoing them and using a grey wash that I just mixed up from, I think it was Dawnstone, just watered it right down and washed it into the recesses, and that toned that brown down quite a lot. There's still bits of it showing through, but I was a lot more happy with the look I was trying to achieve with it after that. So yeah, that's it. I probably won't get any more of those. 12's enough for me. The thing is, they need a leader really. I'll use the guy with the fur as the leader for now, until I get my other heroes painted up. So let's move on and look at something else. So Gundabad Ogres next. Gorgeous models. I'm really loving what Forge World are churning out at the moment, making the hobby a lot of fun. Again, I'm almost envious that I haven't got more time to spend on my own stuff, just because I've really sort of refound my mojo for getting things done, and I have to keep stopping. I've made a new sort of, well, not a resolution, but I decided to make more time for myself. So weekends I don't do commissions. I don't do, if I'm not working at the fire station, obviously. Weekends are for my own projects and armies. After all, it's my hobby too, and I was just burning out trying to get everyone's commissions done during the week and the weekends, but that has changed recently, which I'm grateful for, and I don't think I should feel too guilty about, As I say, it's my hobby too, after all. Right, so this guy, I think I prefer the face actually on this one than I do that one. But it took me a long time before I got to the stage where I was happy with it. And even now, while they're okay, and I'm relatively pleased with the result, yeah, I just look at other people's paint jobs and I just think, oh, that's so much better than what I can do. But I really got to draw the line somewhere between painting each model like it's an award winner, or just concentrating on the aesthetic of the entire army. And it's a fine balance. Last year, I know this was the plan for last year's board, to get all the Gundabads done for Armies on Parade. That never happened, although I did submit an entry. It was a joint entry with my son. It's a 40k Orc board, and that won a gold medal. So we did something right, and the models aren't painted any better than these ones. But Armies on Parade isn't just about the individual paint jobs, and neither is it just about the board. It's a combination of the two, and making something that works, almost like a theme, as you were. And that's kind of the sort of thing that people are looking for. If you're interested in seeing the 40k board that we did, I can film that. That's not a problem. Probably be a refreshing change actually, to put something on the channel that's not Hobbit or Lord of the Rings related. So anyway, back to the ogres. As I say, no conversions on these. They went together pretty well. A few little mould lines here and there, but aside from that, no problem. I have got another one which will get converted to a striking pose, probably similar to the old two-handed smash cave troll. I expect that'll be the way to go. That is, I think it's Ogre 1 I've got. So that'll be something to look forward to. If you want, I can film the conversion. Let us know what you want to see, really. I mean, do you like these little army showcase videos, or do you prefer the tutorials where you can change or see me changing models and perhaps get some inspiration from that? Open to suggestions. So that's done. Let's have a look at something else. Alright, here's the General, Azog, in armour, with a flail, on the White Warg. He is the daddy of the entire force. White Warg, let's talk about that quickly. Dismount. This is just as he comes out the box, really, or she, should I say. And then you just a case of scraping off Azog's legs and just sculpting a bit of fur on, really. There's not a lot to it. It's very simple to do, and lots of people have done it. So that's the dismount. Okay, so here's the conversion. This one, best conversion at Ardicon in 2016. It was a little bit different then, because it had the what do you call it, the mace in his hand rather than the flail. I've added the flail just because the rules are cool in the book, and it also matches the foot version, which I did. So this was just the White Warg. This was the Wild Warg Chieftain model from Lord of the Rings, giving them a plastic Fell Warg head, so it matches the other wargs from the range. This Azog is the same as this Azog, which was originally this Azog. So this is Lieutenant Lieutenant Sauron, is it? I forget the name. That's the model. That's the base model for both of these conversions. Obviously been cut up a lot more on this one to get them to sit right on the warg. So this conversion is a lot more complex than the foot version, but the techniques are the same. I like this model, and it'll do until we get an official Forge World one. So, quite commanding, dominating the battlefield. So let's talk about the foot one then. Alright, so this is our log on foot, in armour, with the flail and the sword. So when I made this, as I mentioned, so this is the base model. As you can see, it's not that unsimilar, especially the top half. Yeah, so I've cut the head off. If you cut the head off just below the neckline, and where the, let's have a look. So along the base of the skull, along the jawline, you can cut the head off, and then you can rotate it around a little bit. That's what I did. You can see I've altered the legs as well. That means cutting them off at the hips. Okay, and just moving them slightly. I did that. You don't need to do that. I appreciate that's a lot more complex than a lot of you are willing to go. What you probably want to know is how the rest of it was done. So the sword itself, that was, I believe it was a paper clip which I hammered flat for the main part. So this main stem here, and then this bit on the blade on the outside was green stuffed on afterwards. Drill a hole through the stump where once you've cut this bit off, so cut the claw off, drill through the stump, and then you can have the sword go all the way through. Possibly an easier way might be to use plastic card. So draw out the shape of your sword on the plastic card, cut it out with a very sharp hobby knife, and that will probably have the same effect, although it'll be a lot flimsier. It will be less prone to breaking if it's made of plastic. So the flail itself is just a ball of green stuff, and you're kind of just pushing it flat really, and then you move it along, turn it over, push it flat again, rotate it around, push it down, make it flat. And it's, I wouldn't say it's time consuming, but you do have to keep an eye on it because green stuff wants to return to a curved shape really. It doesn't keep its hard edges very well. In fact, I believe I made this out of brown stuff because it has a lot better, it's a lot better at keeping sharper edges. But green stuff will work, you just got to persevere with it a lot more until it really starts going off, and you can speed up the process if you have it under a light bulb, and also use a lot more blue than yellow, because yellow is what keeps it soft and rubbery. So if you use more blue than you do yellow, you'll get it harder more quickly. The chain itself, okay, I think I cheated a little bit on this one. It's off a Warhammer model. I forget the name. Flagellants, is it? I think it's Flagellants. There's a little sprue, and they've got like little bells and stuff on them, and you just cut those off, and you just use the plastic chains. It's very simple. You can sculpt chains. There is a way to do it. It's a bit fiddly, but it's certainly achievable. There is, I mean, I could show this, I guess. Possibly, if there's enough interest in it. I can show you how to armour your Azog up, although we won't have too much longer to wait. I wouldn't have thought until Forge World come out. So the armour itself then, it's just flat. So you roll a bowl of putty up, squash it flat. You can use your fingers because you're going to smooth it over. And you want it not too thick, but not too thin. So that's not very helpful. But I'd say you wouldn't want any thicker than 1 millimetre. Okay, and then you just put a shape over it, like a trapezium. So wider at the top than it is the bottom. So you lay that over there. You can either use your pin, your pick, shall I say, or get a very sharp hobby knife. Okay, and you can work in. What you do, you just press that pattern in with the flat edge of the blade, so you're pushing down into the putty to form these intricate like patterns, and you can come down and you can do the next layer, so it's like a set of stairs almost. Okay, and then it's just a case of working it until you're happy with it. But that comes in after you've put your base layer down. It's probably easier if I just do a tutorial and show you. So maybe I'll do that if that's what you want. See, comment below if you're looking to armour your Azog up on a budget. This one comes away, it's got little magnets, so I can put them in this little display case. Just like that, because that's when he was fighting Thorin. But obviously, as we know, he doesn't have 40mm base, he has a 25mm base for gaming purposes. So yeah, that is Azog. The back, I'd argue, is a lot simpler than the front. Done in a similar process. So the stepped area was done in one go, just pressed in again with the tip of the blade. Okay, so we cut in, move down, cut in, move down, press in, like so. These bits at the back, they were added afterwards once it cured, as were the shoulder spikes. So don't try and do those while you're doing the chest piece, because you'll just end up pulling your hair out. It's a lot easier to add them separately once the main chest piece has cured. Alright. So that is Azog armoured up. Perhaps these hips, you can tell that's fairly simple process. They're just, again, they're trapezium shaped slabs of putty put on, and then I use, okay, so I've got a cone tipped rubber shaper, size 0, I think it is. Does it say on there? Yeah, it's wearing out because I use it a lot. So it's size 0, firm. You can get soft, which are black normally in colour, but if you want to get serious about sculpting, you need some of these. Alright, and that's just a case of once the putty's on there, you can just drag, press down, move along, press down, work your way along, and then push up to get some curved bits at the bottom. And that's basically that. Right. The boots, I haven't really done much. Added some kneecap things, and also a bit of fur at the back. Focus. So that's more or less Azog. The fur, well, it's not rocket science. It's just a load of putty around the edge. It's like a half moon or semicircle putty around the top of the boot, and then it's just a case of dragging lines carefully into it, and you can wiggle them by doing like little S shapes and just get it looking a lot less vertical, I guess, a bit more random, and that goes with the shoulders as well. So fur was added on these shoulders, and then the armour over the top of them again. All about layers. So if you do want to see an armoured Azog tutorial, comment below and I'll see what I can do. I appreciate I'm very busy at the moment, but I do have one more to do, so I could do a tutorial with that. Like here's another one. So similar armour, just different pose. And this was converted, this wasn't using this one, this was using the foot version, the original one. So that's that guy, completely reposed. But anyway, I think that's another video. This one's dragging on now. So let's look at what I've got left to do for the time being. Alright, so that's all the painted stuff. You've seen that. I forgot one. So this is the hero list that needs doing now. So I've got most of the troops done for the time being, until we get round to doing some goblin mercenaries. Right. Obviously the trolls as well, but we'll talk about those shortly. So heroes. Now, I've painted up one Azog already, which is the bare minimum. That was enough to get me to the tournament. At some point I want to revisit Azog and just get them all done and tucked away. I think Azog is probably the most requested character I get for reposing. So there are a few different variations. Bolg. Still got to do Bolg. He's probably the biggest absentee from the army at the moment. I've started him, as you can see, both these models. So the white warg is done for that Azog, and this warg is done for Bolg. But I'm not likely. Oh, I've lost the tip of my weapon there. Just noticed that. Don't know where that's gone, so that'll need fixing. Yeah, there's only really one. So this model needs finishing for the army. Keeper of the Dungeons needs finishing. And I've got another captain, which I'm gonna. I know he's already primed, but I'm gonna convert him, make him look a bit different. Probably similar to something that Matt Davies did with the back banner skulls, and probably a weapon from the Berserkers, just to make it a little bit different. This Bolg is going to go in the Hunter Orc army along with this Azog. So there won't be snowy bases, they won't be part of that main force that you saw earlier. I'm working on a new Bolg warg. I really dislike this oval base. It just irks me. My OCD can't handle it. Lord of the Rings is all about circles for me. I know some of the big monsters come on ovals, and I can just about deal with that. But when you start putting cavalry models on ovals, you start venturing into the world of Warhammer and or Age of Sigmar as it is now, and I don't like it. So I'm going to put my new warg on a 50mm base. Bolg will get a repose, I'd imagine, and he'll have armour similar to 5 armies battle. Don't know if I'll change the foot model, because I do like the foot model. Aside from the armour, he's going to get an armour upgrade. So these two models won't feature. It will be completely reconstructed for the Armies on Parade board. Keeper of Dungeons is what he is. I've started him, as you can see, needs finishing off. And Captain. So, still plenty to do on the painting side of things. But no, I can afford not to do it, because a lot of it is for the Hunter Orc army, and I'm not worried about Hunter Orcs at the moment, even though I've got loads. I want to concentrate on the 5 armies sort of theme side of things for the time being. So I think that's it for what's left to paint, aside from the trolls that I'm working on. So let's have a look at those quickly. Right, the old battering troll. Quite a fun model, this. Some of you will have seen it, as I posted it up on the Facebook pages. So this was originally, let's take him off. This was originally a Mordor troll, the plastic one, and as you can see, he's been given quite a substantive makeover. These straps are separate, because it'd be quite difficult to paint in between those areas that are hard to get to. So all this has just sort of been added in. You've got the masonry hat with the steel plate over the top, and been given extra toes, as Hobbit trolls have 3 digits, not 2. And yeah, he's given little teeth and a heavier brow, just to make him a bit more like the concept artwork that's in the Weta Chronicles books, which are awesome. If you're looking to do any of your own sort of conversions and need some inspiration, then I really advise picking those up, because they are invaluable. So I really like this guy so much that, I mean, this is a commission piece, but I like him so much that I'm going to do one for myself, because he's a fun model. Even though there's no rules for him, he's going to sit on the table with the army, just to add a bit more variety, as I mentioned earlier. Really fun piece. Yeah, so that's that. Let's have a look. What else? So we've got. Right, so this guy, you know about this. You've seen. I've done one of these already for Bradley. The old Gundabad Troll Brute. Got a few of these to do, as you can see. At various stages. So it's just a case of skinning them up. So that's the Mordor troll as he comes. These are the drummer arms with just the edges cut off and rounded off. Snip the legs off at the knees. Fill it up with green stuff, or I think I used offcut sprue. Just glue those in there, and that gives you something to drill in. This is a coat hanger, and some round green stuff balls for the beginnings of the feet. There, from there, that's too small. As he is, you imagine you've got to sit one of these guys on top of him. That kind of looks a bit silly, so he needs bulking out. So then we move on to this stage, and it's just a case of adding loads of putty right around the entire body, really. And then you get to this sort of stage. Okay, so it's a lot bulkier now. And you're just adding flesh, basically, for a lot stockier troll. And obviously next stage, I need a complete head makeover. I'll get a complete skin in. So yeah, and his big nappy thing will need adding on as well. But yeah, so got quite a few on them on the go. Quite a popular request. I think I've got six to do in all. I'm not going to be doing any more, as these all came in after the film was released, but before we knew Games Workshop and Forge World were going to be making them. So once these are done, that'll be it. I'm not doing any more. So do not ask me, as I'm starting to get a bit fed up with them, as I did with the elk at Frandwell. What else? More trolls. So we've got, this is just a basic one. Yeah, I know the Forge World ones are coming, but as I say, all these commissions were in before we knew they were going to be here. Main problem with that is the base sizes, I guess. As we know, the new trolls come on 80mm bases, I believe. I have got an 80mm base actually. So if that's the 60mm base, that's the new 80mm base. What do they fit on there? I don't know. How are they going to look? So I can still use them. It's just going to look a little bit dwarfed, I guess. So we've got these. I think I mentioned this last time in the previous video. This guy. So he's got the old Troll Chieftain torso. The old Isengard metal face, and he's got Isengard shields attached to his arm, which we're changing up into scythe gauntlets. So that's work in progress. Okay, needs a lot more work done on him. There's another one of those, but this is more screen accurate armor, I guess. So he'll be going a similar process. To get him a bit more movie-like. And what else? Have got any more? Oh yeah, this one. So this guy, this was in the scene where the chariot's riding along the frozen river, and he's got like a load of, I'm not sure what they are, I think they're goblin mercenaries scuttling across. So might put a few goblins on top of there as well, give them the old bridge. As I say, work in progress. That's the old chieftain's legs and the plastic Mordor troll body with, you can see here, I've cheated a little bit. I've put an arm on back to front, but that doesn't matter because he's going to be getting reskinned. It's literally just for the armature. So talk a little bit about troll bases. And the catapult troll is probably the biggest issue. Because the Mordor troll is just too small, basically. I began making one from the plastic troll kit, but there was no way there was going to be any sort of reasonably sized catapult on top, so I have to do a rethink. And especially when you compare it to the still shots from the movie, when you've got this guy coming over a hill, and he's got a catapult troll just behind him, and for the scale to be right, it's going to have to be something ridiculous like this for it to be accurate. Okay, so that's my War in the North ornament, nor the dwarf. He's obviously the wrong scale if we get him out of shot. So it's almost going to have to be that big to be real to the movie scale, but obviously that's not feasible, especially when you consider possibly it may be going on an 80mm base, may not. One thing's for sure, the Mordor troll is not going to be man enough. What I did discover is I got out my old Eagle Moss troll, Eagle Moss Collector Series. I've got quite a lot of those models, and there's a cave troll which is possibly a better scale if we can get it. So here's the Mordor troll. This is the Eagle Moss cave troll. So it's not gigantically bigger, but considerably bigger. So and it does kind of fit on the 80mm base a lot better. So if I do one, I'll probably end up doing something similar scale to that, in the hope that that's sort of what it comes out like. I mean, I've done a mock-up using the Goblin Scribe. So let's have a look at that quick. So this is a Goblin Scribe, still unpainted, but if it kind of conveniently sort of fits on the back of the troll. Sort of like that. Now obviously these are too big and stuff, but I don't know. The cogs are turning, so depends when it comes out. If we get a catapult troll before October, then we'll go with that. If we don't, then I'll try and figure out something using a similar scale to this, because I think it's probably a little bit more accurate than using the Mordor troll, because that's just not an option for the catapult troll. You just can't fit everything on there. So that is trolls, and aside from that, I don't think there's much else left to talk about. So let's just cut it there and wrap up. Well, I hope you enjoyed having a quick look at what I'm working on. Still stuff to do. There's the Forge World Troll will be out soon, I imagine. We've all seen it. So trolls, need to add those to the army, both Forge World and probably conversions. Goblin mercenaries, they'll be going on the board. I probably won't do those just yet. I'll wait and see what Forge World come up with. Maybe sometime we'll relook at that in the summer, because I don't envisage that being too much of a problem for me, just using Goblin Town goblins with some armour on, if need be. So they shouldn't take too long if I have to do them. The board itself needs planning out. I've got a rough idea in my head. That's sort of what I want it to look like. We won't cover that too much now in this video, probably later on in another one. So what we got coming up on the channel, we've got Gundabad Berserker conversions tutorial. That'll be soon, within the next week or so. What else? We've got the Armies on Parade showcase video that Kev made. That was on display at Ardacon last year. So that's done and in the bank. I mean, what sort of other videos do you guys want to see? Do you want a video showing how to armour up Azog on a budget? We can do that. Do you want to see how the troll brute develops? We can do that. There's plenty of those on the go. Little stuff like that. Any sort of tips or advice that you would like from a sculpting aspect, we can do that. So just comment below or or type something on the Shadow and Flame Facebook page, and I'll see what I can do. Obviously, I'm limited to sculpting, converting advice, really. We all know I'm not the painting half of Shadow and Flame. I'm more on the modelling side, so it is kind of limited to that because Kev, let's just say he's less enthusiastic about the videos than I am. So if that's what you want to see, drop us a line, see what I can do. I think for the time being, that's it. We'll come back and revisit the army once we've had a look at some trolls and what's on the workbench at the moment. So we've got stuff on the bench that is for SBG magazine. We've got stuff Shadow of Mordor. There's Golden Demon stuff. There's Numenor Cavalry, I can see. And what else? Oh, there's a mounted Thorongor. And a few bits and pieces, lots of little conversion stuff that I need to bang out, really. Because there have been some very patient people waiting for me to do their stuff, and I need to bang it out. But I have reduced the time I'm spending on that now. As I said in the video, I want weekends just so I can work on my own stuff, because at the end of the day, it's my hobby too. So, like, share, subscribe, comment below what you want to see, and merry miniature modelling.